let's start with Sasha Vezenkov because just like as you noted, it's obviously mounting in buzz that he's going to come here. It would already been a topic, the day after the Kings lost Game 7 to the Warriors. Mike Brown was in Greece last week to see their Game 5 in round 1 of the EuroLeague playoffs. And then Mark Stein reported this weekend, because Mark Stein always jumping on the bandwagon, talked to a European source, who said it's bordering on inevitable that he makes the move. And so it sounds like in some capacity, Sasha Vezenkov is going to be on the Kings. And from a strict offensive standpoint, I do not think there's any question that he would fit in just fine. And that looking at the offensive end, he could plug into the starting lineup. I don't think that's totally crazy. He is, I would say he's a better shooter than Harrison Barnes. He has an insanely quick release. He's a master of off-ball movement. He would fit right in to the team. He kind of looks awkward. I think, especially when you're talking about like European players, people don't expect them to be able to move. And while I wouldn't call Vezenkov athletic in any regard in terms of like NBA athleticism, he moves better than you'd expect. He hustles, and he's a very smart player. He has an insanely soft touch. You watch him; he's got a great floater game.
He's soft to the touch, you could say.
Oh, yeah, big Sasha, soft to the touch, and
Soft to the touch, Sasha.
yeah. Hey, there you go. We're getting those nicknames going, and yeah, I mean, I think in terms of like one of the things he's known for being able to just score without putting the ball on the floor. I think he had a game where he scored 18 points and didn't dribble the ball once. And so, like that would fit right into the movement of the Kings offense. He would be able to squeeze right into that and do all that. And of course, like you would probably, I guess the one thing that I would point out on offense that you would really miss from Harrison Barnes is like you wonder if Vezenkov's going to be able to put the ball on the floor in any capacity similar to Harrison Barnes, because Harrison Barnes was just a guru at being able to sense when things were getting a little off track, and he could put the ball on the floor, get to the line, or score in the paint, probably more likely the former, and kind of set things straight again, which was part of his kind of like stabilizing veteran status. You probably would not get that from Sasha Vezenkov, but you could probably get that from other guys, hopefully.
Yeah, I was going to say, hopefully Murray can take that next step.
You would hope.
Yeah, and he kind of showed that going towards the end of the season. He kind of showed that he can get into the paint. Maybe not draw fouls the way Harrison Barnes can draw fouls, but he looked more confident dribbling the ball towards the end of the season, and he's a guy you can see taking a big jump in his sophomore year. But sorry, continue.
No, that's a great point. And when you think about it too, it's just like you put Vezenkov out there. I mean, it's not like Barnes was not a threat from three. But if you're talking about a situation where Vezenkov is a better shooter than Barnes, which I that's probably the least controversial thing you can say. And that's one of the things, the quick release, the ability to hit from all sorts of different angles and off all sorts of different actions. Like Vezenkov is going to be a very good shooter in the league. And, at his height, it's going to translate, I think. So with that, it maybe not to a huge degree, but that might spread the floor open opportunities up for a guy like Keegan Murray to maybe dribble inside or do something like that. So the spacing might be slightly better too. So like offensively speaking, he seems pretty solid. And he's also really, he's adamant about getting on the glass, getting rebounds, and he plays the right way. Mike Brown called him smart. He's smart. But no, that means a lot. You don't just say that about a guy. And I think Mike Brown values that. He values the toughness. I think one of the things he said when he got interviewed by a Greek reporter last week was that you can tell that Sasha Vezenkov's not afraid of anything. He's fearless, which is just critical for any professional athlete, especially one that's going to be making this jump overseas to come to the ultimate league competition wise for that sport. And so, like, all those things do set kind of or paint a picture for the possibility, again, the possibility that he could fill in for Barnes in the starting lineup, slide Murray up to the 3. But we talked about kind of the, kind of how, is there's not really clear cut position so much in the Mike Brown system, as it were. So I feel like it could fit, and like all that sounds great. But then the question is his defense, which even if you watch him in EuroLeague and you're like, well, he's a pretty solid defender in EuroLeague, it's like, yeah, but you know, the worst player in the NBA could go to EuroLeague and be a pretty productive player. And you're not guarding the preeminent talent in the world there. It's going to be significantly harder. I don't think I have to say that when you come to this league. So, and then it's just hard to judge what he'll be able to do in that situation. But while that's kind of a question mark and even kind of a concern, because like I said, I mean, he may move well, but he's not necessarily athletic. It doesn't jump off kind of the screen. He doesn't jump off the screen at you. That could cause some concerns. But if you're also talking about a smart player, high IQ, good feel for the game, and one that hustles and one that wants to do really well, maybe he could buy in and really thrive into the Mike Brown, Jordy Fernandez defense. So it's a possibility, but it's too big of a question mark to really like bet on. So like to answer the question of like, can Vezenkov replace Barnes? Like, he can. I don't know that he will. And it's also just like, and if you don't know that he will, like, are the Kings gonna go out and just be like, yeah, let's just hope? Or unless they have an understanding that like they have a better idea of what they'll get out of him and they like what they see, or don't, and he becomes more of a role player. So like that's kind of the situation with Vezenkov. And